I have built the I Love Coaching Blueprint 8 times. Yes, 8 versions. And every single time I rebuilt it, it was because I sat across from a coach who was stuck in a place that I hadn't solved yet. Today, I'm going to show you what I have finally gotten right. And I'm going to do it by walking you through 3 patterns I've seen in hundreds of coaches that this latest version of the blueprint was designed to fix. Stay with me until the end because I'll give you that solution. When I first started coaching coaches, I thought I had it all figured out. I had the KW story, I had my SaaS recruiting bridge story, I had results, I had the framework, and the coaches that I was working with were actually getting somewhere. But the thing was, not somewhere fast enough. Something was still creating friction. So I went back and rebuilt it. And then I rebuilt it again. And I rebuilt it again. Each version was better than the last because each version was built from real patterns I was seeing in real coaching businesses, not just theory. This version 8 blueprint was built around one core discovery that I saw that every coaching business that was stuck for 3 reasons and 3 reasons only. And those 3 reasons map directly to where you are in your build. The income inconsistency, the pricing hesitation, the capacity ceiling. They look different on the surface, but they all 3 trace back to the same root. And once you know which one is yours, things will get so much easier and so much simpler. So what did I do? I built a scorecard. I built a scorecard that's 15 questions, 5 categories, and takes 4 minutes. And it tells you exactly which pattern you're in right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to walk you through the 3 patterns. Not because I want you to self-diagnose right now. Why? Because I want you to know that you're seen. I've sat there, other coaches in our community have sat there, and it's not that fun. And here's the thing. Because if any of these 3 sound familiar, you're not alone. And here's the key. You're actually not broken. So let's dive into the first pattern. Pattern number 1 is what I call the offer isn't yours yet. And here's what I see with coaches in this position. They're not underqualified. They're not lazy. They're not doing nothing. They're actually doing a lot. They're showing up. They have coaching clients. They're investing in their education. They're trying to grow. And the business, though, still feels like it belongs to someone else, even though it's theirs. And that's not a coincidence. The pattern that I saw was this. Almost every coaching program education does the same thing. It teaches you a methodology and then lets you figure out your business side on your own. So what do? You do what makes sense. You go follow someone else's work that you admire. You implement the systems that they were trained in. You model the mentor, and you end up with a business that functions without you quite fitting into it. And here's what I want you to understand. That's not a talent problem. That's not a building problem. The simple thing that I want you to see is that the architecture underneath your coaching doesn't match you, the person doing the coaching. And I'll give you an example. There was a coach that I was following when I first launched back in 2019. Loved the guy, loved what he was doing, loved his framework, even paid $10,000 for his framework. And it was all videos. There was no proximity to this individual. I had to sit there and watch, and I believe it was 177 videos. And I actually only watched maybe the first 12, had success with the first 12, made my money back, and didn't watch the rest. But what I realized is exactly this pattern, is I was building something where the architecture was there. It was there. Didn't match me. And so as I had been watching coaches outside of our community and inside of our community, I realized that that was a pattern. They were learning from somewhere else. They were bringing that architecture in, but they realized, well, I had to realize for them that the offer wasn't theirs. I can also relate this back to the time when I was working for a coaching company. I felt like I was the coach, now very generalist at that time, but I was underneath the umbrella of somebody else. Thought it was my coaching business, but that architecture that was underneath my coaching didn't fit me. So that's why I say that you feel like in pattern 1, you're doing everything right, but the business still feels like it belongs to someone else. Let's look at the second pattern. And this second pattern is what I call offer isn't clear yet. I say these coaches are in the middle of the scorecard, and they're usually the hardest ones to help with just a single piece of content because they're not starting from zero. They have clients, they have results, they have a track record that a lot of coaches would envy. but something is still creating friction, and that coach knows it. And they know it because they feel it in certain conversations. They notice it when a month, revenue-wise, comes in lower than what it should be. And these coaches can even sense it on their coaching calls. It's when the momentum slips in or on that coaching call, even before they get to the good part of the coaching call. And here's the thing that I want you to sit with, that friction is almost an offer clarity problem underneath everything else. Not a confidence problem, not a marketing problem. You see, what happens there is that their payoff of their offer is framed in coaching language instead of buyer language. You see, and what it does is it actually describes the process instead of the results. And when that happens, the right person hears it, nods politely, and says, I need to think about it. And that's not a sales problem. All that is the offer asking is and has to be clearer. So let's go into the third and the last pattern. This one has a title of offer hasn't scaled yet. And if you score low on the scorecard, that means you've done real work to get here. Your income is reasonably stable. Your pricing is grounded. When you explain what you do, it mostly lands, and that's not nothing. I want to name it before I tell you what's next, because here's what I see with coaches mostly at this stage. The next problem isn't the same as the last problem. You're not trying to find clients, and you're not trying to create clarity on your offer. You're bumping up against a ceiling of a model that was never designed to grow past where you are. To earn more, you have to take on more clients. To make more, you have to give more hours. And at some point, guess what? You will run out of hours. And the business that used to feel like freedom starts to feel like a ceiling that you can't see past. Loving your clients and being trapped by your model are two completely different things. This one I can personally relate to myself. Is when I launched my coaching business, it was great. I had clients, I had freedom, I had income. And just as I said, for me to make more, I had to give more. For me to make more, I had to continue to give more, and that was of my time. And it's this one right here that I believe stops people from getting into the coaching space because they can't see a model that scales. They truly think that they have to trade their time for money. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true. Before I figured this out, it was true. This is as high as I could go. I could get to about 50,000 a month of one-on-one coaching, and then I was exhausted. I was giving my time. I was giving my resources. It was tough to go on vacation. There was no scale to it, period. Everyone would ask, Adam, when are you going to scale your business? And I thought, I don't know how to scale this because I'd hit a ceiling. Though, guess what? I figured it out. And it only took me 2 years. And so now what I'm trying to do in this is share with you how to cut that 2 years down into maybe 2 months. And I want to share with you what's truly important about these 3 patterns is that they almost never show up alone. The income inconsistency, the pricing hesitation, the borrowed framework, the capacity ceiling, the fuzzy explanations, they're all connected. They trace back to the same root. And that root is always the same thing. An offer that isn't fully yours yet, it isn't fully clear yet, or isn't fully built to grow yet. That's it. And once you know which one is yours, here comes the fun part. You'll actually stop spinning and you'll start building. And when you start building, man, is it a lot of fun. You get this big smile on your face, your heart smiles as well, your clients are happy because you actually have a business and not just a one-on-one or one-to-many coaching sales space. So I want to invite you, and here's what I want to invite you to. I built a free scorecard that identifies exactly which pattern you're in right now. 15 questions, 5 categories that'll take you about 4 minutes. And when you're finished, it will tell you specifically what's holding your offer back and what to do about it. There's no sales gimmick here. There's no strings attached. Just go take it right now. Go to ilovecoachingco.com/scorecard. ilovecoachingco.com/scorecard. I'll also put the link here below. It takes less time than finishing this video. And I promise you, it will show you more about where you're stuck than most coaching programs will ever tell you in a month or even in a year. Why? Because I'm on version 8 of my blueprint and it's taken me 6 years to get to this part. And here's the cool part about version 8 of this framework. Every single rebuild was stuck in a way that the last version couldn't solve. This version, it was built for you. So go find out which pattern is yours. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.